Hi dear students, how are you? Fine. Okay. So in the last lecture, we were learned about phylum Chordata, its fundamental characters, comparison of chordates and non-chordates, classification of phylum Chordata. In that we discussed phylum Chordata is divided into how many subphyla? Yes, 3 subphyla. Which are they? Urochordata or Tunicata, Cephalochordata and Vertebrate. That time one more point we discussed, that subphyla Urochordata and Cephalochordata are often referred to as what? Yes, protochordates, and they are exclusively marine. And then we discussed that in Urochordata, notochord is present only in larval tail, while in the case of Cephalochordata, it extends from head to tail region and is persistent throughout the life. And some examples also we discussed. Examples of Urochordata: Acidia, Salpa, Doliolum, and Cephalochordata, Branchiostoma, also known as Amphioxus or lancelet. Even we told the importance of Branchiostoma, that is one of the few living genera of lancelets. Then the next point we discussed, the members of subphylum Vertebrata possess what? Notochord. And during what time? During the embryonic period. And then what happened to this notochord? The notochord is replaced by a cartilaginous or bony vertebral column in the adult. So then one statement was discussed. Which statement was that? Thus, all vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. Beside the basic chordate characters, even we told vertebrates have what? Ventral muscular heart with 2, 3 or 4 chambers, and they are having kidneys for excretion and osmoregulation, and have paired appendages which may be fins or limbs. And today we have to start the topic, that is regarding Cyclostomata. Before that, we can see once again the subphylum Vertebrata is further divided as follows. See that Vertebrata again divided into two divisions, Anada and Gnatostomata, that is based on the presence or absence of jaw. Absence of jaw or lacks jaw, then they are coming under Anada. And if it bears jaw, so they are coming under the division Gnatostomata. Anada is further divided into class Cyclostomata. Gnatostomata again divided into two superclasses, superclass Pisces and superclass Tetrapoda. Pisces bear fins, Tetrapoda bear limbs. And Pisces superclass again divided into two classes, Chondrites and Osteichthyes. And superclass Tetrapoda again divided into four classes, Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves and Mammals. So now let's start with class Cyclostomata, coming under the division of Anada and under the subphylum Vertebrata. Okay, let's see. All living members of the class Cyclostomata are ectoparasites on some fishes. See the first point, what we are saying about Cyclostomata. All living members of the class Cyclostomata are ectoparasites. They are living on the host body. And who is the host here? Some fishes. And they have an elongated body bearing 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits for respiration. What is the next point? They have an elongated body bearing 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits. For what purpose? Respiration. Cyclostomes have a sucking and circular mouth without jaws. Cyclostomes, as I discussed earlier, cyclo means here cyclic or round, stom means mouth. So they are having circular mouth, and as they are coming under anata, they are not having jaws. So that is the point we are discussing here. Cyclostomes have a sucking and circular mouth without jaws. Figure 4.18, you can see the figure of Petromyzon, that is a jawless vertebrate. A jawless vertebrate means coming under anata. What's the name of the example? Petromyzon. You have to remember the name. And their body is devoid of scales. From the figure itself, we can say that actually that figure of Petromyzon, elongated body structure is there, gill slits are present there, but they are not having scales. Body is devoid. Devoid means absence. Body is devoid of scales and paired fins. You can see fin can only in one side. You can see fins only in one side. So paired fins absent. Cranium and vertebral column are cartilaginous. The characteristics or the features of chordates: cranium, vertebral column. These cyclostomata, they are also having cranium and vertebral column. They are cartilaginous. Circulation is of closed type. Cyclostomes are marine but migrate for spawning to fresh water. This is a unique feature of class Cyclostomata. Please underline the point. What is unique characteristic coming here? Cyclostomes are marine but migrate for spawning to fresh water. What do you understand by the term spawning? Spawning means releasing or depositing eggs. What is spawning? Releasing or depositing eggs. So you have to understand, even though cyclostomes are living in marine condition, but they have to migrate to fresh water. For what purpose? For spawning. That means they are going to deposit or release eggs in fresh water. After spawning, within a few days, they die. After spawning, within few days, they die. Means their life cycle is completed. Their larvae, after metamorphosis, return to the ocean. So that means we can understand they are having an indirect development. Once the egg hatches, they are developing as larvae. And after metamorphosis, these larvae, they are returning to the ocean. So what is the point here? Once again see, cyclostomes are marine but migrate for spawning to fresh water. After spawning, within a few days, they die. Their larvae, after metamorphosis, return to the ocean. Examples: Petromyzon, also known as lamprey, and myxine, hagfish. So which are the examples? Petromyzon or lamprey and myxine, hagfish. So this is regarding class Cyclostomata. What were the points we discussed? All living members of the class Cyclostomata are ectoparasites on some fishes. They are having elongated body and they bear 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits for respiration. They have sucking and circular mouth without jaws, and the body is devoid of scales and paired fins. Cranium and vertebral column present, they are cartilaginous. Circulation is of closed type. Then another one important point we discussed regarding spawning. Cyclostomes are marine usually, but they migrate for spawning to fresh water. After spawning, within a few days, they die, and their larvae, after metamorphosis, returning to ocean. Example which one? Petromyzon, lamprey, and mixin hagfish. I think the topic is clear for you. Now let's move to the next class, Chondrites. They are marine animals with a streamlined body and have cartilaginous endoskeleton. So as compared to cyclostomes, we can see that these chondrites are having streamlined body. In the case of cyclostomes, we were telling that they are having elongated body. And here how it is, streamlined body. This structure you already learned in 9th standard, 10th standard, even lower classes. What is the need of streamlined body? Because they have to pierce the water and to go ahead. That's why the structure is streamlined. So what's the first point? They are marine animals. Who are marine animals? Chondrites. And with what body structure? Streamlined body. And how the endoskeleton? Cartilaginous endoskeleton. And here mouth is located ventrally. Notochord is persistent throughout life. Persistent, even I told you that. What's the meaning of that? Continuing for a long time. So now notochord is persistent throughout life. Gill slits are separate and without operculum. What is operculum? It's gill cover. Gill is covered by a structure that is known as operculum. Here operculum is absent in the case of chondrites. The skin is tough and containing minute placoid scales. In the case of cyclostomes, we told that the skin is devoid of scales, absence of scales. But in the case of chondrites, the skin is tough and they are having minute, means small scales. The name of the scale present on chondrites body is placoid scales. Teeth are modified placoid scales which are backwardly directed. See the point? Teeth are modified placoid scales. They are having teeth. Actually, what are these teeth? They are the modified placoid scales. And the direction is backwardly. Their jaws are very powerful because they are coming under which one? They are coming under the division Gnathostomata. That means they bear jaws. So they are having jaws. And what's the point we are saying here? Their jaws are very powerful, very strong. These animals are predaceous. Predaceous means they are catching the prey and eating. That is predaceous. Due to the absence of air bladder, they have to swim constantly to avoid sinking. Usually in the case of fishes, they are having what? Air bladder. So they can balance the body. They can come up and down. But in the case of chondrites, they are not having air bladder. So in that condition, what they have to do? They have to swim constantly, continuously to avoid sinking. So to avoid sinking, what they have to do? They have to swim constantly. What's the reason? Because they are not having air bladder. And heart is two-chambered. One auricle and one ventricle. What about our condition? Ours is four-chambered. Two auricles and two ventricles. So here in the case of chondrites, what they are having? They are having heart. How many chamber? Two chambers. Which are they? One auricle and one ventricle. Some of them have electric organs. It can be adaptation for them. So what they are having? Electric organs. Example, torpedo. And some possess poison sting. Example, trigon. So listen, first we told that they are having two-chambered heart and some of them have electric organs as in the case of torpedo, and some possess poison sting as in the case of trigon. They are cold-blooded animals. Cold-blooded, the scientific term is poikilothermus. Poikilothermus, that is commonly known as cold-blooded animals. So what is cold-blooded animals? The definition is given. That is, they lack the capacity to regulate the body temperature. So who are known as poikilothermus? The organism which lack the capacity to regulate their body temperature. Sexes are separate. In males, pelvic fins bear claspers. They have internal fertilization and many of them are viviparous. Okay, now listen. One point we discussed, in males, pelvic fins bear claspers. In the case of fishes, you have to understand they are having pectoral fin and pelvic fin. The fin in front is known as pectoral fin and the back one is known as pelvic fin. And here in the case of males, what is present? Pelvic fins bear claspers. What are these claspers? Please note down. Write down claspers. A pair of appendages under the abdomen of a male shark or ray, or at the end of abdomen of a male insect, used to hold the female during copulation or mating. Once again, I am repeating the point. Listen. Claspers, a pair of appendages under the abdomen of a male shark or ray, or at the end of abdomen of a male insect, used to hold the female during copulation or mating. Okay, let's see. Regarding chondrites, let's have a quick revision. Whatever the points we discussed. Class chondrites coming under the superclass species. So regarding chondrites, the points we discussed, they are marine animals with streamlined body and have cartilaginous endoskeleton. And the figure is given here. Example of cartilaginous fishes. First one is Scoliodon and the second Pristis. You can see the structure of these fishes. As compared to cyclostomes, the structure varies. They were having elongated body and here it is streamlined body. So now the points we discussed again is, mouth is located ventrally, towards down, that is ventrally. Notochord is persistent throughout life. Gill slits are separate and without operculum. What is operculum? It's gill cover. So operculum is absent. The skin is tough. They contain what? Minute placoid scales. They are having teeth. What are they actually? These teeth are modified placoid scales. And towards where it is directed? They are backwardly directed. Now regarding their jaws, as they are coming under Now regarding their jaws, as they are coming under Gnatostomata, obviously they are having jaws. And their jaws are very powerful. And these animals are predaceous. And due to the absence of air bladder, what they have to do? They have to swim constantly to avoid sinking. What about their heart? Their heart is two-chambered, one auricle and one ventricle. Some of them have electric organs, which is the example. Yes, torpedo. Who is having poison sting? Trigon. And what about? And they are cold-blooded animals. What is the scientific term for cold-blooded animals? They are poikilothermous. What does it mean? That is, they lack the capacity to regulate their body temperature. What about sexes? They are separate. And in males, what is present in pelvic fin? They bear claspers. And I explained regarding clasper. What is it and what's the use of that? Now regarding the fertilization, they have internal fertilization and many of them are viviparous. Viviparous means we have to understand they are giving birth. So now the examples of chondrites. Scoliodon, dogfish. Pristis, sawfish. In the figure it was given, you can see that. In the figure, Pristis is shown and the structure you see like a saw. The front portion you can see that powerful jaw I told you. So this is very powerful and like a saw which is using to cut the log. The same structure it is having. That's why it's known as what? Sawfish. And what's the scientific name? Pristis. Another example is Carcharodon. That is great white shark. Once again say the name. Carcharodon. Great white shark. Trigon. Stingray. As we discussed in the point, some of them are having poison sting. So here, trigon is an example whomso having poison sting. That's why they are also known as stingray. So once again, the examples: Scoliodon, dogfish; Pristis, sawfish; Carcharodon, great white shark; and trigon, stingray. Now one more class coming under pisces, that is class Osteichthyes. Let's say class Osteichthyes. It includes both marine and freshwater fishes with bony endoskeleton. Till now we were telling regarding the endoskeleton, that is cartilaginous. But now the first time we are saying that the endoskeleton is bony. So osteich, that word we have to understand the meaning is osteo means bone. So here the organisms which is coming under class Osteichthyes are having bony endoskeleton. First point once again, it includes, what includes? Class Osteichthyes includes both marine and freshwater fishes with bony endoskeleton. Their body is streamlined. Mouth is mostly terminal. You can see the difference. In the class Chondrites we told that mouth is ventral and here it is saying mouth is mostly terminal. Tip. They have 4 pairs of gills which are covered by an operculum on each side. In the case of Chondrites, we told that they are not having operculum or gill cover. But in the case of Osteichthyes, we are saying that they are having 4 pairs of gills and which are covered by an operculum on each side, both the sides. Skin is covered with cycloid or ctenoid. Again, the difference you can see in the case of Chondrites, we discussed that the skin is tough and covered with minute placoid scales. But here what we are saying, skin is covered with cycloid or ctenoid scales. Air bladder is present, but in that case it was absent because of that what they were doing or what they have to do, they have to swim constantly to avoid sinking. But in the case of Osteichthyes, what they are having air bladder and which regulate buoyancy, balancing in the water, swimming and all. Okay. Heart is 2-chambered as in the case of them, 1 auricle and 1 ventricle. They are cold-blooded animals as we discussed the same. What is the scientific term? Poikilothermous. What does it mean? They lack the capacity to regulate their body temperature. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is usually external. There it was internal and here it is external. They are mostly oviparous. There we told viviparous and here we are saying oviparous and development is direct. Direct means you have to understand the young one resembles the adult. Examples given: As we told first point, it includes both marine and freshwater fishes with bony endoskeleton. And here marine examples: Exocetus, flying fish. What's the example? Exocetus, flying fish. Hippocampus. In the figure it is given, you can see right side. Examples of bony fishes given. Hippocampus. It's known as seahorse, having a structure of furs like that. So it's having the name seahorse. What is scientific name? Hippocampus. And the examples of Osteichthyes means which they are living in freshwater are labio, rohu, Katla. Scientific name and common name both are same pronunciation, but the spelling differs. First letter Catla and their Katla. Katla. Clarias, magur. So Katla figure is given here. So one of the examples of marine and one of the examples of freshwater given. Marine example given of hippocampus seahorse and freshwater example given of Katla. Now some of the fishes are growing in aquarium. That is betta, fighting fish, petrophyllum or petrophyllum, angelfish. Fighting fish, that is betta, or battle we can say, like that we can remember the name betta or fighting fish, petrophyllum, angelfish. So once again we can have a quick revision of the points what we learned about class Osteichthyes. First point, it includes both marine and freshwater fishes with bony endoskeleton. Their body is streamlined, mouth is mostly terminal. They have 4 pairs of gills which are covered by an operculum on each side. Skin is covered with cycloid or ctenoid scales. Air bladder is present which regulates buoyancy. Heart is 2-chambered, 1 auricle and 1 ventricle. They are cold-blooded animals. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is usually external. They are mostly oviparous and development is direct. Examples: marine, Exocetus, flying fish, hippocampus, seahorse. Freshwater fishes: labio, rohu, Katla, Clarias, magur. Aquarium: betta, fighting fish, petrophyllum, angelfish. So here we have completed the two classes, that is Chondrites and Osteichthyes, which is coming under the superclass species, coming under the division Gnathostomata, which is coming under the subphylum Vertebrata, which is coming under the phylum Chordate. So from the subphylum Vertebrata, regarding the further division, we have completed mainly division Anatha. That means they are lacking jaws. In that the class Cyclostomata we have completed. And when coming to the next division, that is Gnathostomata, they bear jaws. And in that the superclass species. And in the superclass species we have learned about 2 classes, Chondrites and Osteichthyes. Now one more superclass is coming under Gnathostomata, that is Tetrapoda. From the name itself we have to understand they are having 4 pods or 4 appendages or 4 limbs. Tetrapoda means they bear limbs. In that we have to learn about 4 classes: Amphibia, Reptilia, Elves and Mammals. So now let's start with the first class, Amphibia. Amphibia, that you all know. What is an amphibian? Any example? Yes, frog. Why we are calling it as an amphibian? As you have learned in lower classes, amphibians are able to live both in water and on land. So here the first point is indicating the same. Class Amphibia. As the name indicates, Greek word amphi means dual, bios means life. That means they are exhibiting dual life. Amphibians can live in aquatic as well as terrestrial habitats. That means they can live in water as well as on land. Once again see the first point. Okay, let's see the point once again. As the name indicates, Greek word amphi means dual and bios means life. Amphibians can live in aquatic as well as terrestrial habitats. In the figure 4.21, you can see Salamandra and Rana. Salamandra is the scientific name and the common name is salamander, and Rana is the scientific name of frog. Rana tigrina is the scientific name. Now the next point is that most of them have two pairs of limbs. Total 4 limbs are there. Body is divisible into head and trunk. Tail may be present in some. The amphibian skin is moist, that means without scales. The eyes have eyelids. A tympanum represents the ear. What is a tympanum? Okay, please note down. Tympanum. Tympanum is a large external oval-shaped membrane made up of non-glandular skin. Once again, tympanum is a large external oval-shaped membrane made up of non-glandular skin. It is located just behind the eye. Second point, it is located just behind the eye. Is it clear for you now? What is tympanum? Tympanum is a large external oval-shaped membrane made up of non-glandular skin. It is located just behind the eye. Okay, now let's move to the next point. Alimentary canal, urinary and reproductive tracts open into a common chamber called cloaca, which opens to the exterior. So you have to understand the point. Alimentary canal, urinary and reproductive tracts. 3 main parts are coming there. Alimentary canal, urinary and reproductive tracts open into a common chamber called cloaca, which opens to the exterior. So regarding or related to digestive, excretory and reproductive tracts all together open into a common chamber called what? Cloaca, and which opens to the exterior. Next point, respiration is by gills, lungs and through skin. You have to remember the points what we learned earlier. Here we are saying respiration is by gills. So when they are in water, gills are helping in respiration. When they are on land, lungs are helping, or respiration is through lungs. And even their skin is a part of respiration. Respiration occurs through skin also, and that respiration is known as cutaneous respiration. Cutaneous, through skin. So 3 types of respiration occurring. One through gills, another lungs, and the last one through skin. And the next point is related to heart. In Pisces, we told that 2-chambered heart, 1 auricle and 1 ventricle. In the case of amphibians, little more evolved class is there. So here the heart is 3-chambered, 2 auricles and 1 ventricle. These are cold-blooded animals. The scientific term we used, what was that? Poikilothermous animals. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is external. They are oviparous by laying eggs, and development is indirect. Larval stage is coming during development. Some examples are given. Buffaw, toad. Rana, frog. That is the common frog. Phyla, tree frog. Salamandra, salamander. Ichthyophis, limbless amphibia. This one you have to underline because this is an exceptional case in the case of amphibia. Because Before starting, we told that Amphibia is a class which is coming under Tetrapoda. That is a super class coming under Gnathostomata. So in Tetrapoda general, we told that they are having limbs or they bear limbs. So Ichthyophis is coming under Amphibia, but they are limbless amphibians. So that's a unique characteristic for them. Even though they are coming under Amphibia, but they are not having limb. That's why limbless amphibia is Ichthyophis. So this example you have to, all the examples you have to understand, but this is an exceptional case coming under amphibia. So it's very important. Please note down that. So I think amphibia, whatever points we discussed related to that is clear for you. Let me read once again all the points. All of you please listen in your textbook. As the name indicates, Greek word amphibians dual and bios means life. Amphibians can live in aquatic as well as terrestrial habitats. Most of them have two pairs of limbs. Body is divisible into head and trunk. Tail may be present in some. The amphibian skin is moist without scales. The eyes have eyelids. A tympanum represents the ear. We have written the note regarding tympanum. Please try to understand that also. Alimentary canal, urinary and reproductive tracts open into a common chamber called cloaca, which opens to the exterior. An important point is that respiration is by gills, lungs and through skin. The heart is three-chambered, two auricles and one ventricle. These are cold-blooded animals. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is external. They are oviparous and development is indirect. Examples: buffo, toad, rana, frog, hyla, tree frog, salamandra, salamander, ichthyophis, limbless amphibia. Okay, now let's move to the next class, Reptilia. Reptiles, you are knowing very well which are the organisms, for example, common, what are coming under that, and the speciality of Reptilia or reptiles. What is that? Because they are having a habit of crawling. So here the first point related to class Reptilia or reptiles is that the class name refers to their creeping or crawling mode of locomotion. Once again see the point. The class name is class Reptilia. So the class name or the Reptilia name refers to their creeping or crawling mode of locomotion. And the word originated from Greek word Latin repere or reptum, means to creep or crawl. Once again see the word. In Latin, repere or reptum means to creep or crawl. They are mostly terrestrial animals and their body is covered by dry and conified skin. Once again see, they are mostly terrestrial animals and their body is covered by dry and conified skin. Epidermal scales or scutes. This dry and conified skin is actually the epidermal scales or scutes. They do not have external ear openings. In them, what represents the ear? Tympanum represents the ear. Limbs, when present, are two pairs. Heart is usually three-chambered, but four-chambered in crocodiles. So here again you can see the exceptional case. When we are saying about reptiles or reptilia, we have to understand they are having a crawling mode of locomotion. That is the case we have told that if they are having limbs, then how many are present there? Are of two pairs. That means four. And they do not have external ear openings. And what represents the ear? Tympanum represents the ear. And if limbs are present, then they are of two pairs. So why we have kept the condition if limbs present? Because in reptiles only, what is coming? Snakes coming. They are not having limbs. That is the reason we are saying that reptiles, limbs when present are two pairs. Heart is usually three-chambered, as in the case of amphibians. But one exceptional case is there, that is crocodiles. Crocodiles which are coming under reptilia, but they are having four-chambered heart. So this is the only exceptional case regarding heart of crocodile. Even though it is coming under reptilia, but it is having four-chambered heart. All other reptiles are having only three-chambered heart. Reptiles are poikilothermous. That means again they are cold-blooded animals. Snakes and lizards shed their scales as skin cast. You would have observed snakes and lizards, what they are doing? They are shedding their scales as what skin cast. Casting. That is known as skin cast. Casting means shedding of skin or outer layer. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is internal. They are oviparous and the development is direct. So here, once again we can see the points related to class Reptilia. The class name refers to their creeping or crawling mode of locomotion. Latin word repere or reptum means to creep or crawl. What does it mean? To creep or crawl. Thus the class got its name Reptilia. They are mostly terrestrial animals and their body is covered by dry and conified skin, epidermal scales or scutes. They do not have external ear openings. Timbanum represents ear. Limbs when present are two pairs. Heart is usually three-chambered but four-chambered in crocodiles. Reptiles are poikilotherms, that means cold-blooded animals. Snakes and lizards shed their scales as skin cast. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is internal. They are oviparous, means by laying eggs. And development is direct. Young one resembles adult. Examples: Chelone, common name is turtle. Testudo, tortoise. Chameleon, tree lizard. Calotis, garden lizard. Crocodilus, crocodile. Alligator, alligator. Hemidactylus, that is wall lizard. Hemidactylus, wall lizard. Poisonous snakes, naja, cobra. Bungarus, crate. Vipera, viper. Once again see the examples. Chelone, turtle. Testudo, tortoise. Chameleon, tree lizard. Calotis, garden lizard. Crocodilus, crocodile. Alligator, alligator. Hemidactylus, wall lizard. Poisonous snakes, naja, that is common name cobra. Bungarus, crate. Vipera, viper. You can see the figure of reptiles given here. First one is chameleon and the second crocodilus, that is crocodile. There you can see on the body the dry scale or conified epidermal skin, that is known as scales or scutes you can see. In the case of chelone, chelone means turtle. There also we can see the conified structure, dry epidermal skin is that, and naja, limbless. That's why we told that if they are having limbs, then two pairs. Snakes are coming under reptiles, they are not having limbs. So, class Reptilia with examples, I think it's clear for you. Now, next class, that is of aves. Do you know the common name of aves? Aves means birds. We all like birds. We can see different types of birds around us. So now here in class aves, what characteristics or what features related to birds are given? Let's go through in detail. First point, the characteristic features of aves or birds are the presence of feathers. And most of them can fly except flightless birds. Flightless birds example ostrich. So whenever we are talking about birds, immediately in our mind it's coming that flying bird. So for flight, what is the need there? That is wings, presence of feathers. So the characteristic features of doves or birds are the presence of feathers, and most of them can fly. Here also exceptional case is coming. Flightless birds are there. Birds only there, but they are not able to fly. That's why it's known as flightless birds. Example, ostrich. Now class Aves, that means birds. They possess beak. What they are having? Beak. Figure 4.23. Some birds figure is given. First one is neophron. Second, struthio. Third, you know that. What's the name of that? Psittacula. Actually, common name is parrot. And pao. Pao means peacock. So now all the birds you can see the beak. Are they like? No. All differs. Having different types of beaks as per their feeding habit it is there. Okay, the point we discussed that was they possess beak. Now the forelimbs are modified into wings because we are learning about the superclass Tetrapoda, and in that the first class we completed, that of Amphibia, and even the second class completed, that is Reptilia. Now the third is their Aves. So as they are coming under the common or the general characteristic, we have to understand they should possess what? Limbs. And tetrapoda means four limbs, two pairs there. But in the case of aves, they are having only one pair of limbs. Then where the other pair? Actually the forelimbs are converted to what? Wings, or they are modified into wings. The hind limbs generally have scales and are modified for walking, swimming, or clasping the tree branches. Clasping means holding tightly the tree branches. Already forelimbs modified to form wings, and the hind limbs, what are function and what the structure? The hind limbs generally have scales and are modified for walking, swimming, or clasping the tree branches. Regarding skin, skin is dry without glands except the oil gland at the base of the tail. In the case of birds, at the base of the tail, a gland is present that is known as oil gland. So here we are saying the point, skin is dry without glands except the oil gland at the base of the tail. Endoskeleton is fully ossified. Fully ossified means we have to understand completely bony, made up of bones. And the long bones are hollow with air cavities. So here the birds' bones are completely bony and the long bones of birds are hollow with what? Air cavities. So such types of bones are known as pneumatic bones. What they are known as? Pneumatic. Means what to understand? Bones which are hollow and with air cavities are known as pneumatic. And why it is needed? Why the bones are hollow? Because if it is solid, the body become heavy. So during flight, it can create problem for them. And they won't be able to fly high. So to make the body light-weighted, the bones are hollow. With what? Air cavity. Okay, now the next point. The digestive tract of birds has additional chambers. The crop and gizzard. This is a unique feature of birds. The digestive tract of birds has additional chambers. What are they, or what is the name of that additional chamber? That is the crop and gizzard. You would have observed that if at home, you are nearby your home, if the birds are making nest and after laying eggs, and when the eggs hatch out and the young one is coming, they are going to collect food for them, and when they are returning back to feed the young one, you would have observed that below neck portion, one swollen part you can see. Means the collected food are stored in that. From that, It's collecting it back and giving to the mouth of the young one. So, the digestive tract of birds has additional chambers known as the crop and gizzard, and related to heart, it's completely four-chambered. They are warm-blooded. The first time we are saying about warm-blooded animals. Till now we were telling that they are cold-blooded, poikilothermous, like that we were discussing. But in the case of owls, they are warm-blooded, and the scientific term for that is homeothermous. What is the scientific term? Homeothermous animals. That is, they are able to maintain a constant body temperature. Just opposite of cold-blooded. They were not able to maintain a constant body temperature, but here in the case of warm-blooded animals or homeothermous, they are able to maintain a constant body temperature. Respiration is by lungs. Respiration is by what? Lungs. Air sacs connected to lungs supplement respiration. Air sacs are connected to what? Lungs. And they help in respiration. They supplement respiration. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is internal. They are oviparous and development is direct. All these points are clear for you because many times we discussed it. Sexes are separate, fertilization is internal, and they are oviparous. Even they are laying eggs, and from the eggs the young one is coming out after hatching out of the egg. And the young one resembles the adult. That's why we are saying the development is direct. Examples: corvus, crow; columba, pigeon; psittacula, parrot; struthio, ostrich; pavo, peacock; Aptenodytes, penguin; neophron, vulture. Once again, see the examples. Scientific name and common name, both you have to understand, you have to learn. Corvus, crow; columba, pigeon; psittacula, parrot; struthio, ostrich; pavo, peacock; Aptenodytes, penguin; and neophron, vulture. So here we have completed regarding owls. Once again, see the point. I'll read first. You have to listen the point very carefully. Look at the text. The characteristic features of owls or birds are the presence of feathers, and most of them can fly except flightless birds, example ostrich. They possess beak. The forelimbs are modified into wings. The hind limbs generally have scales and are modified for walking, swimming, or clasping the tree branches. Skin is dry, without glands except the oil gland at the base of the tail. Endoskeleton is fully ossified, that is bony, and the long bones are hollow with air cavities, so they are known as pneumatic bones. The digestive tract of birds has additional chambers, that is the crop and gizzard. Heart is completely four-chambered. They are warm-blooded, homeothermous animals, that is, they are able to maintain a constant body temperature. Respiration is by lungs. Air sacs connected to lungs supplement respiration. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is internal. They are oviparous and development is direct. Once again, the examples: corvus, crow; columba, pigeon; psittacula, parrot; struthio, ostrich; pavo, peacock; Aptenodytes, penguin; neophron, vulture. Now we are going to learn the last topic of the chapter and the last class of tetrapoda. Okay, let's see. Class Mammalia or mammals. They are found in a variety of habitats: polar ice caps, deserts, mountains, forests, grasslands, and dark caves. Means wherever the possibility is not there, there also who are present, mammalia or mammals are present. That's why we told that they are found in a variety of habitats: polar ice caps, deserts, mountains, forests, grasslands, and even dark caves. Some of them have adapted to fly or live in water. As they are flying, so doesn't mean that they should come under waves. In mammalia also, some of the species are having the adaptation of flying. The most unique mammalian characteristic is the presence of milk-producing glands, that is mammary glands, by which the young ones are nourished. Underline the point. Which is the most unique characteristic of Mammalia? So the most unique mammalian characteristic is the presence of milk-producing glands, that is mammary glands, by which the young ones are nourished. They have two pairs of limbs, adapted for walking, running, climbing, burrowing, swimming, or flying. You can see four mammals. First one is Ornithorhynchus, second Macropus, and the third Pteropus, and the last Balanoptera. So till now whatever the points we discussed, let us see once again. Class Mammalia, or commonly we can say mammals. Regarding the habitat, they are found in a variety of habitats such as polar ice caps, deserts, mountains, forests, grasslands, and dark caves. Some of them have adapted to fly or live in water. The most unique mammalian characteristic is the presence of milk-producing glands, that is mammary glands, by which the young ones are nourished. They have two pairs of limbs, adapted for walking, running, climbing, burrowing, swimming, or flying. Now the next point, the skin of mammals is unique in possessing hair. When we are learning about the characteristic of mammals, this point is already coming. What is that? Mammal skin is unique. Why? Because of possessing hair. External ears or pinnae are present. Till now we were telling that external ear is not present. In that case Timbanum is present, like that we were discussing. But now we are saying that external ears or pinnae are present. Different types of teeth are present in the jaw. That's a very important point. Different types of teeth are present in the jaw. Connected to that, many points or many topics are coming. As in the case of ours itself, you know that how many types of teeth are present in our mouth? Mainly 4 types. Which are they? Yes, incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. So here 4 different types of teeth present. So it is known as heterodont. What is it known as? Heterodont. All the 4 different types are there. And then in our case, one more point you have to understand, because we are having 2 sets of teeth. 20 teeth are present earlier. They are known as milk teeth, and these milk teeth are falling, and in that place new teeth are coming, and they are known as permanent teeth. So total 32 teeth are there in adult mouth. So as the case is of presence of 2 sets of teeth, we can say the condition Diphyodont. What is it known as? Diphyodont. That means temporary teeth, that is the milk teeth, and permanent teeth present. That's why 2 sets of teeth. And different types of teeth present, that's why it's known as heterodont. Okay, let's come back to the point. Now heart is 4-chambered. They are homeothermous. That means they are warm-blooded. Respiration is by lungs. Sexes are separate. And fertilization is internal. They are viviparous with a few exceptions, and development is direct. So here what we have discussed, first of all regarding the skin of mammal, that is unique because they are possessing hair. External ears or pinnae are present. Different types of teeth are present in the jaw. Heart is 4-chambered. They are homeothermous. Respiration is by lungs. Sexes are separate. And fertilization is internal. They are viviparous, giving birth to young ones and feeding them as they are coming under Mammalia. And with a few exceptions, and development is direct. Now coming to the last example of class Mammalia. Examples. Oviparous. As we told, the last point you will have noticed that they are viviparous with a few exceptions we told. That's why it's coming here example oviparous. So not only viviparous, even which type is also there? Oviparous also there. Oviparous example Ornithorhynchus platypus. Viviparous Macropus kangaroo, Pteropus flying fox, Camelus camel, Macaca monkey, Ratus rat, Canis dog, Felis cat, Elephas elephant, Equus horse, Delphinus common dolphin, Balanoptera blue whale. Balanoptera blue whale, Panthera tigris tiger, Panthera leo lion. Once again see examples, many are there. Only one we are seeing here oviparous, in that example is Ornithorhynchus platypus. Viviparous, many examples are there. Macropus kangaroo, Pteropus flying fox, Camelus camel, Macaca monkey, Ratus rat, Canis dog, Felis cat, Elephas elephant, Equus horse, Delphinus common dolphin, Balanoptera blue whale, Panthera tigris tiger, and Panthera leo lion. So thus the class Mammalia completed. In short, all the phylum we have completed here. We started with Porifera and ended with the class, which one? Mammalia. Now the salient distinguishing features of all phyla under animal kingdom is comprehensively given in the table 4.2. Let's see quickly. You can see the salient features of different phyla given here. In the first column, it's given of phylum starting from Porifera to Chordata. Second column of level of organization. Third, symmetry. Fourth, coelom. Fifth, segmentation. Next, digestive system. Next to that, circulatory system. Then respiratory system. And the last column is of distinctive features, peculiar characteristics. In the case of Porifera, you can see the level of organization as cellular. Symmetry, Porifera is usually we are saying that asymmetry, but we are mentioning as various. As per the structure of the body, it can be. Coelom is absent, segmentation is absent, digestive system absent, circulatory system, respiratory system also absent. Distinctive feature of phylum Porifera is body with pores and canals in walls. In Coelenterata or Cnidaria, level of organization is tissue and symmetry is radial. Coelom and segmentation absent. Digestive system is incomplete. Circulatory and respiratory system absent. Distinctive feature is the presence of cnidoblast. Coming to the next phylum Ctenophora, there also level of organization tissue and symmetry radial. And coelom and segmentation absent. Digestive system is incomplete as in the case of Coelenterata. Circulatory and respiratory system absent. Distinctive feature is the complex for locomotion. In the case of Platyhelminthes, organ level and organ system level are present. Symmetry is bilateral. Coelom segmentation absent. Digestive system incomplete. Circulatory and respiratory system absent. Distinctive feature is flat body and the presence of suckers. As helminthes or Nemathelminthes or nematodes. Level of organization is organ system. Symmetry is bilateral. Coelom pseudocoelomate and segmentation is absent. Digestive system is complete. Circulatory and respiratory system absent. Distinctive feature often worm-shaped elongate. Next to phylum Annelida. Level of organization organ system. Now for all the phylum, when we are seeing Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata, everywhere the level of organization is organ system level. And the symmetry also you can see that from Platyhelminthes to Chordata, there the symmetry is bilateral. And related to coelom, in Annelida and Arthropoda, mollusca, echinodermata, hemichordata and chordata. What is their coelom? They are coelomate. That means we have to understand the presence of body cavities there. And related to segmentation, in Annelida, segmentation is present. Arthropoda, segmentation is present. But in the case of mollusca, echinodermata and hemichordata, segmentation is absent. Again, in chordata, segmentation is present. Related to digestive system, as the highly evolved phyla are coming ahead. So, we can see that from Ask helminthus to chordate, the digestive system is complete. Circulatory system is present in all, and respiratory system absent in the case of Annelida, but it is present in the case of Arthropoda, mollusca, echinodermata, hemichordata and chordata. Now the distinctive feature of Annelida is body segmentation like rings. That's why the name Annelida. Arthropoda, the distinctive feature is exoskeleton of cuticle jointed appendages. Mollusca, external skeleton of shell usually present. Echinodermata, water vascular system and the radial symmetry. Hemichordata, worm-like with proboscis, collar and trunk. Chordata, presence of notochord, dorsal hollow nerve cord, gill slits with limbs or fins. So here we have completed the topic. So many lectures we have taken for completing this chapter, that of chapter 4, Animal Kingdom. As we discussed in the beginning, in this chapter mainly two topics we covered. First topic was basis of classification. In that 6 fundamental features we learned. Then we have completed classification of animal kingdom. In that we have started with Porifera and entered with phylum Chordata. And in that phylum Chordata itself we have learned about the subdivisions there. Then with class Mammalia we have completed the chapter. And even the salient features of different phyla in the animal kingdom in a tabular form we have discussed. So now before winding up the session, let's go through the summary. When we are going to understand the summary, or when I am reading the points which is mentioned in summary, you will get a quick revision of the points and the topics which we covered in this chapter. Throughout the sessions, whatever we discussed, a quick memory is going to come. Okay, let's see. The basic fundamental features such as level of organization, symmetry, cell organization, coelom, segmentation, notochord, etc. have helped us to broadly classify the animal kingdom. Besides the fundamental features, there are many other distinctive characters which are specific for each phyla or class. Porifera includes multicellular animals which exhibit cellular level of organization and have characteristic flagellated choanocytes. The coelenterates have tentacles and bear nidoblast. They are mostly aquatic, sessile or free-floating. The ctenophores are marine animals with complex. The platyhelminths have flat body and exhibit bilateral symmetry. The parasitic forms show distinctive suckers and hooks. Ask helminthus are pseudocoelomates and include parasitic as well as non-parasitic roundworms. Annelids are metamerically segmented animals with a true coelom. The arthropods are the most abundant group of animals characterized by the presence of jointed appendages. The mollusks have a soft body surrounded by an external calcareous shell. The body is covered with external skeleton made of chitinous exoskeleton. The echinoderms possess a spiny skin. Their most distinctive feature is the presence of water vascular system. The hemichordates are a small group of worm-like marine animals. They have a cylindrical body with proboscis, collar and trunk. Phylum Chordata includes animals which possess a notochord either throughout or during early embryonic life. Other common features observed in the chordates are the dorsal hollow nerve cord and paired pharyngeal gill slits. Some of the vertebrates do not possess jaws. They are coming under Anada, whereas most of them possess jaws. They are coming under Nadostomata. Anada is represented by the class Cyclostomata. They are the most primitive. Underline the point. Cyclostomata, they are the most primitive chordates and are the ectoparasites on fishes. Nadostomata has two superclasses, Pisces and Tetrapoda. Classes Chondrites and Osteichthyes bear fins for locomotion and are grouped under Pisces. The Chondrites are fishes with cartilaginous endoskeleton and are marine. Classes Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves and Mammalia have two pairs of limbs and are thus grouped under Tetrapoda. The amphibians have adapted to live both on land and water. Reptiles are characterized by the presence of dry and conified skin. Limbs are absent in snakes. Fishes, amphibians and reptiles are poikilothermous, cold-blooded. Owls are warm-blooded animals with feathers on their bodies and forelimbs modified into wings for flying. Hind limbs are adapted for walking, swimming, perching or clasping. The unique features of mammals are the presence of mammary glands and hairs on the skin. They commonly exhibit viviparity. With this summary, we are winding up the session. Before that, I have to say one more point. So this chapter most probably completed from the textbook and even from the material, but some of the topics still remaining to take from the material that we will take in the coming sessions. Thank you so much for listening me throughout the session. Once again, thank you.
Kingdom Animalia, Vertabrata. The second subkingdom of Kingdom Animalia is Vertabrata, which is further divided into 5 classes: Pisces, Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves, and Mammalia. Let's learn them one by one. The first class is Pisces, which includes all types of fish. They're exclusively water-living animals. Their body is streamlined with a tapering end and is covered with scales. Fins are used for the purpose of locomotion. Pisces are cold-blooded animals and have a 2-chambered heart. The respiration takes place through gills. Fish are oviparous. That is, they lay eggs and show external fertilization. Class Pisces is further divided into subclasses: Chondrites and Osteichthyes. Subclass Chondrites include fish with a skeleton of cartilage. The mouth is in ventral position on the head, and the gill openings are separate gill slits. A good example of the same is a shark. Subclass Osteichthyes include bony fishes. The mouth is in a terminal position on the head, and the gills are covered by a bony flap called operculum. The fins are membranous structures with bony rays. A few examples of the same are herring, pomfret, and tilapia. Fish is an important source of nutrition for the people who live in coastal regions. Colorful fish are also used to create beautiful aquariums. The next class is the class Amphibia, which includes cold-blooded animals. These animals can live in water as well as on the land. Amphibians have moist skin because of the presence of mucous glands. The respiration takes place through gills in larval stages and through lungs and skin in adults. Amphibians have a three-chambered heart. Fertilization is internal. They lay eggs and the tadpole is the larval stage in their life cycle. Common examples of the class Amphibia are frog, toad, and salamander, which are found in large numbers in various parts of the world. The third class of Vertabrata is Reptilia. Reptiles are cold-blooded, terrestrial vertebrates with dry and hard skin. The skin is covered with overlapping scales. Reptiles are pentadactyl, but in case of snakes, limbs are either reduced or absent. Most of the reptiles have a three-chambered heart, but the crocodile shows the presence of a four-chambered heart. The gaseous exchange during respiration in these animals occurs through lungs. In reptiles, the fertilization is internal, and the fertilized eggs are layered with a very tough and hard shell. Reptiles, like snakes, exhibit the phenomenon ecdysis or molting, which is the periodic shedding of the skin. Examples of reptilia are lizards, snakes, turtles, tortoise, etc. The next class is that of aves, which includes all birds. They are warm-blooded organisms. Birds are described as feathered reptiles that have evolved the power of flight. Their body is covered by feathers, but the legs have scales. The forelimbs are modified into wings. Birds have a strong but light skeleton, and the limb bones are hollow, with the internal space filled by air sacs. This is to reduce their weight and for the easy flight. Birds lack a heavy jaw, but their jaw is extended into a beak. Birds have a four-chambered heart, and they show a high metabolic rate. Birds show internal fertilization and lay fertilized eggs. Birds are of economic importance as well, since eggs of certain birds are the protein source and an important part of the diet of several people all over the world. Their colorful feathers are used for decoration purposes. The last class of vertebrata is the class Mammalia. Mammals are warm-blooded animals with their skin covered with hair and exhibit bipedal or quadrupedal type of locomotion. Mammals have a four-chambered heart, and the respiration takes place through lungs. Fertilization is internal, and the young when born are fed on milk from the mammary glands. In kangaroos, the young marsupials are born at an immature stage and migrate into the pouch on the mother's body and complete the development there. There is another phylum, known as Protocordata. Because of the presence of notochord, phylum Vertebrata and Protocordata are grouped together under phylum Chordata. Animals belonging to the phylum Protocordata show the presence of a notochord that later develops into vertebral column in vertebrates in some stages during their life cycle. They are marine animals and are bilaterally symmetrical. Examples are Balanoglossus, Amphioxus, etc. Thus, Whittaker's classification, consisting of the 5 kingdoms, practically entails the characteristics of every living organism on this planet, and hence forms an important concept studied in the field of science.